Hello, my name is Alan, and today I'm facilitating the first of a two-shot of my own PBTA game in development of Dark Age heroes confronting the supernatural and protecting the, inverted commas, innocent. Eotenweard. Could I ask all of you to mute, please? Thank you. So this is a game set about 200 years after Rome abandoned the British Isles. This particular session is set in the northeast of what will one day be England. In terms of touchstones, in terms of look and feel, though both The Last Kingdom and Vikings, the TV series, is set about 200 years after this, I think in terms of look and feel, you'll get pretty close if you're visualizing that. In terms of another touchstone, if any of you have read the Warlord Chronicles by Bernard Cornwell, they're the kind of they're the first go at the Last Kingdom. They're set earlier actually than this, but they're more equivalent to this. Magic is more of a thing in those books. So this is a game then in which the players play members of the Eotenweard, the guardians against the monsters. They have been chosen by their various gods. I can't even remember which heritage culture they come from, but their gods think that they are necessary to protect mortals. We'll see how that goes in play. We are playing this game was organized as part of the Gauntlet Online community's monthly calendar. If you don't know about the Gauntlet, please search Gauntlet-RPG and come play with us, because we like to get new players around the table. We have about 100 games a month published in the calendar. If you wanted to support the Gauntlet Patreon, then that will give you a degree of priority access to those games. Like all Gauntlet games, we like to think we have a good table culture, and so we are playing today with a kind of set of safety tools. The safety tools we're playing with are lines and veils. I've played with all of these players before, so I know they're familiar, but for the sake of the recording, I will remind everyone. Lines are things that won't appear in the fiction. If anyone sails too close to those, please draw our attention to it, or if you're concerned that we're moving that direction, draw our attention to it. Veils are things that, while they could appear in the fiction, they will be veiled. We'll draw a discrete curtain across. They won't appear on screen. We're also playing with the X card. So if something comes up that makes anyone uncomfortable that we didn't think of in the lines and veils, then the X card is there to just pause play and just make sure that we all get back on a comfortable place. The best way to play the X card when I'm facilitating is to show me the X card, because my focus tends to be on the faces of the players. If you prefer to put it in the chat, if I don't react to it, I'd ask one of the other players draw my attention to it. I won't ask you, what's triggered the need for an X card. I may ask you how far back in the fiction you want me to rewind to avoid it, whatever it was that made somebody uncomfortable, because the idea is we all be comfortable around the table. I quite hope that you might be uncomfortable in a good way, but I don't want you to be uncomfortable in a bad way. We're also playing with an open door, which means a number of things. One, if something goes on in the real world, please go deal with it. Right, we hope you'll come back. If you need to leave the table, walk away from the screen for a bit, then it's great if you can tell us if, will you be back in 5 minutes or 10 minutes? We'll carry on playing and try to reintegrate you on your return. But the open door is also there. If this turns out not to be the game you hoped it was going to be and you're not having fun, for goodness sake, don't grin and bear it. There are more important things to do in life than sit playing a game you're not enjoying. So the open door is there to be used. I increasingly think of the debrief process of Stars and Wishes at the end as another safety tool. But all in all, we are playing within the Gauntlet Community Code of Conduct, which is, I sometimes summarize as don't be a dick. And I know that won't be necessary because, as I say, I know these players one and all. So that's my opening spiel. Oh, and my pronouns are he, him. I beg your pardon. So let me begin then by asking the players to introduce themselves and just give us a quick pen picture of the character that they are playing. Blake, let's start with you. Tell us your pronouns and introduce us to Garwyn.
G'day, I'm Blake, he, him. I'm playing Garwyn, she, her, mid-20s, female Briton. Not bad at hunting, being out in the woods and stuff. Probably keeps to herself a bit.
I mean, that's going to be an interesting thing to discover, isn't it? Is she any good at these things? Or because she's a Fae Changeling pretending to be a human being, does she just appear to be good at these things? We'll discover that in play, I dare say. Moving along, Paul, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and introduce us to Ethwin Two Trees.
Hello, I am Paul, he, him, and the character I'm playing for this two-shot is Ethwin, also he, him. Ethwin Two Trees is a Christian Briton, early 30s, battle-worn and scarred, quite weathered, and he seemingly is always looking beyond into the distance.
And he's the sword of God.
Indeed.
Which kind of describes itself, really, doesn't it? Okay, then move along. Joe, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and introduce us to Geldhere.
Hi, I'm Joe, he, him. I will be playing Geldhere, Pagan Mystic. I think my thought process I'm trying something a little different. His look is old, really old. He's really old, like he's like a wizened old. This might be his last rodeo, so that's his. And he's quite slothful, so be prepared to pick up the pieces for him.
Yeah, well, is he slothful or is he just plain too old for this shit? Yeah,
maybe both.
Why did the gods pick me? Okay. And finally, Darren, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and introduce us to Wystan the Commoner.
Hi, my name is Darren, he, him. Wystan the Commoner was a dairy farmer, and for reasons he can't discern, was called upon by, he thinks, Woden, and given the ability to project his thoughts to others. Yeah, he owns a donkey named Caesar, named after the ass who thought he owned this place a while back. And yeah, that's about it.
Lovely. Yeah, that I need to just clarify that the ass means, you'll notice that down the bottom it says miscellaneous gear. So if at any point we find ourselves in need of a particular piece of equipment or gear, it is likely to be somewhere in Caesar's packs. It's the joy of having a friendly beast of burden. Let me ask you some questions then, because they're down there on row 51. It says, how do you know your destiny is bound to that of the other heroes? Because, you know, we've got a kind of militant Christian sort of God, a mystic who believes in the old Celtic gods, and someone who appears to be a Briton who may also believe in those gods or might be a Christian, and then a real Christian Briton or Saxon who is convinced that Woden gave him the ability to read minds and speak across space. So there must be a reason why these four individuals believe that their destinies are bound together. So let me start with Garwyn. How do you know your destiny is bound to that of the other heroes?
Sorry, is it cheating to I'm sorry, was it you said?
No, you got an idea, go for it.
Sorry, no, go ahead. Our names are very similar, so go ahead. Sorry.
They don't smell like prey.
Okay, and what do Fae eat? Does this mean
Okay.
any other mortals is prey?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
They don't smell
Literal.
like hunters or prey. They smell like something else. So,
So I want to explore this one. So how does your burden relate to your urge to hunt mortals?
well, not necessarily mortals, but just hunt. Full stop. When I'm hungry, I'm also angry.
Okay, but I mean, I'm gonna pick at this one, Blake, because you just told me they don't smell like prey. So do no mortals smell like prey, or just these mortals?
Just these mortals.
So other mortals smell like prey.
Hmm.
So how does that relate to the way that you approach other mortals?
Well, yeah, she has to remind herself that people don't, accept biting as a meeting people.
Okay, I'm really looking forward to seeing you roll the seeming human move. Okay, so if you remute, I'll move along to Paul. How do you know that your destiny is linked to this this misbegotten cast of characters?
Because I heard it from a saint when I prayed.
Do you want to put a name on that saint?
Yes, let's go for St. Cuthbert.
Saint Cuthbert. Is that deliberately chosen because Cuthbert is the most important patron saint of the north of England? Or it is now?
It is now.
Okay. No, Cuthbert is powerful medicine at this time in the north of England.
Okay.
Saint Cuthbert said so. Okay. Let's move along to Geldhere. Geldhere, how do you know? Because as you say, this is an old man. You've been a mystic for decades, conceivably. Now, what has drawn you to this group of individuals and this task?
The gods have tasked him with participating in this as a way to live up to what he has always should have lived up to. But his slothfulness maybe has prevented him from being the servant of the gods that he should have been.
Oh, right. So is this by way of a test?
Perhaps, yes. His last chance.
His last chance. I'm now thinking of it, one last job.
One last job.
Okay. And finally, what about Wystan? What has convinced Wystan that his destiny is to be with these other people?
Upon meeting each of them, he felt a strong urge to hear their thoughts and talk to them through their thoughts.
Fine. And what, this doesn't happen with any mortal? This is unusual for him.
Feeling a strong urge to do so is definitely strange for him.
Fine.
He did regret linking with Garwyn's mind, but he did it anyway.
Love it. Love it. Okay. And then I have some other questions for you, which is about the settlement that you're approaching. Can I direct you to the arriving and leaving tab? Up there, top left, is signs and portents. When you approach a settlement for the first time, answer the fates questions about what you have seen or heard or dreamed that convinces you that this settlement is where you are meant to be. So let's go back round to Garwyn. What have you seen or heard or dreamt that tells you that Cweningas is where you need to be?
I think as we're heading in this direction, the star Aldebaran was like shining brightly the whole time. So we're following the path of Aldebaran, which is sort of sacred.
Wow. Following a star. That's important. Okay. Moving along to Ethwin. Ethwin, what have you seen, heard, or dreamt that that leads you to believe that Cweningas is where you need to be?
I heard that the deceased lord of the settlement some time ago was murdered in the mysterious ruins by somebody in the settlement.
I mean, that's a pretty strong lead. Did somebody kind of hint at who it was? Or is it, or I mean, is this rumor?
Yeah. You know, it's definitely rumor. It's drawn me here.
Right. Okay.
Steal GM's agency though, so I won't detail it too much.
Geldhere, what about you? What have you seen, heard, dreamt, believed?
I think as they've progressed, the signs, Woden would be a crow, right? That would be that there are flocks of crows that keep, you know, appearing, guiding him towards this location. Now,
I just want to check in here. It would be ravens, I think, technically.
Ravens.
For
Thank you.
So what? A Saxon god is leading this pagan Britain here.
Okay, so that let me rewind all of that. So this was when we were kind of exchanging texts. He would not be he is the older gods before the okay. Then I completely reverse everything I just said. And he has been plagued with dreams of this town or village or whatever, and there's blood and whatnot. So it's a very nightmarish type dreams of this place.
Oh, played with nightmares of the village. Yep. Right. I like that. And finally, Wystan, what leads you to believe that this is where you need to be?
He has been occasionally struck with visions of this ghastly river seething and boiling into a bog, and sometimes sheep float to the top.
Wow. Ooh, that's really unpleasant. And inquiring about rivers and bogs, that's led you here.
Yes, he has asked people. He's kind of described the place to people and found his way here.
Fine. So you four are traveling together, as you have done for some time, since you were called by your gods to these tasks. And where this begins is as you approach the settlement. Let me ask each of you a question about it. Garwyn, does this settlement have a stockade around it, or is it more open?
No, I think it's got a stockade.
Okay. Ethwin, what kind of condition is it in?
Rotting.
Fine. And I think that would fit with the fact that the gates hang open to the settlement. If that's the appearance it has as you approach, then Geldhere, what does it feel like a prosperous settlement? Is it just the defenses that are run down, or does that kind of degree of decay or bad maintenance apply to the huts and cottages of the villagers?
Sorry. So yes, I think there's a general pall over the entire settlement.
Fine. And finally, let's come to Wystan. Wystan, you know, you're a man of meager upbringing, and so as you approach the hall, the largest building in the settlement of Cweningas, what impression do you get of this hall? Is it something, I don't know, that overawes you by its scale, or something else?
I think he's overwhelmed with this is perhaps the Christian term, but it just feels blasphemous. Like this is not a place that would find Woden's favor.
Right. Outside Woden's favor. Great. Okay. And as you approach the hall, it is by tradition always dusk on arrival. So as the sun sets and you approach the hall, one of you is going to seek hospitality. And again, you'll find that on arriving and leaving. Seek hospitality. When you arrive at a settlement, present yourselves at its hall and introduce yourselves by name and standing or seeming. And this typically is done in order of social status, which puts Ethwin well above almost everybody else, because here is a warrior of some standing, even by the nature of his arms. So Ethwin, how do you address the gatekeeper, the doorkeeper of the hall?
I will say I'm Ethwin Two Trees. I've come to this forsaken village to get audience with the Lady of the Lands.
The next person I think likely to be presented is probably, I think, Geldhere, simply because age is something to be valued. So Geldhere, how do you present yourself at the door of the Great Hall?
He says, we ask for hospitality in the name of the old gods.
Okay. And again, a conceit of the game is the commoner always goes last. So let us come to Garwyn, the seeming pagan British hunter.
Yeah, I'd say I'm Garwyn, a traveller seeking a safe place to rest for the night.
And finally, bringing up the rear with the beast of burden is Wystan. Wystan, do you announce yourself, or is that above your station?
I would think it's above my station.
And certainly the doorkeeper will assume that you are in the employ probably of Ethwin Two Trees, simply because he's the kind of person who might well have some kind of servant.
I'm supposed to roll for a seeming human thing.
I'm going to get you to do that in a moment, but I want first of all to deal with the rest of this move. Well, so when the hero with the greatest reputation, all of your reputations are 0 at the moment, and then social status. So that comes down to Ethwin. So Ethwin, you are going to roll plus reputation, which is a flat 2d6. The dice roller link is in Lines and Veils.
Okay, I just got to refresh the page. It's right click to roll, isn't it?
It's highlight and then the button at the bottom that has the little kind of, there we go.
4.
4. Okay, so on a 6 minus, mark XP for a fail. The fate applies the 7+ outcome chosen by the players, though the hospitality is meager. But one of the heroes is involved or implicated in what they choose. So let's have you. So I'm now seeing you inside the hall being presented to the Lady of Cweningas, the Lady Wolfwyn. And which of these things do you want to happen, either now or during the hospitality you're offered? What's on the table is there is a heated disagreement between NPCs, and I'll ask you who is involved, etc. Something unusual happens during the offer of hospitality, and I'll ask you what you see, hear, feel, whatever. Or do the doors of the hall burst open after you are all seated in the hall, enjoying the hospitality, however meager it might be? Or is there something even more flavorful? So who wants to put an offer on the table? Go on, Paul.
I'll go for the doors burst open and the previous.
Well, no, hang on. So you're going to put that on the table. I just want to check in with the other players whether that's okay with them. So are the rest of you okay with the doors bursting open? I'm getting a nod. Yeah, okay. So at some point during the hospitality you're about to enjoy, however meager, the doors are going to burst open, and I'll then ask each of you some questions. Because Paul, you chose the doors burst open, the others will get asked the other questions. So the Lady Wolfwyn, the aging Lady Wolfwyn, is seated on the large kind of chair on a raised podium, in front of which is a table laid for a meal. Alongside her are those other people that you have selected to be in the Great Hall. The impious priest of Woden, the cowardly warrior, the lustful heir, and the menacing war chief, who stands behind her, eyeing you suspiciously. I think he's menacing you currently. This doesn't mean that he doesn't menace other people. Let's do the starter session moves at this point, as you are settled to eat this meager hospitality. I think, Ethwin, you'll be invited to join the top table. The rest of you will be down there with some. There are other retainers. They're just nameless members of the supporting cast. You, I suppose, Garwyn, and it would be really helpful if all of you edited your Zoom name, just so I can just look at you and remember who your character's name is. I think probably that Geldhere, you will be Geldhere, you'll be seated slightly closer to the top table than either Garwyn or Wystan, who will be seated near the bottom of the tables around the fire pit at the center of the hall. So let's have a quick look at your start of session moves. Again, let's start with seeming human, because I just want to know how that's going to go, and then we'll work our way. I may put something on the shelf and come back to it, but I just want to know at the moment. Though you clothe yourself in the appearance of humanity, mortals can sometimes sense your true nature. Roll plus soul.
I think is 1. So, yep. That would be 12.
Can I just check in? Your soul is always 2.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah.
All right. So that will be 13 then, and I'll put that one down to 1. Done.
Okay. Well, that goes well, doesn't it? On a 10 plus, your outward appearance is seamlessly maintained. So, all things going well, no one is going to twig that you are not, in fact, human.
Yeah, I'm nibbling on the meat and reminding myself not to just crunch the bones loudly and easily.
Let's move along to Ethwin. You have a move called Enemy of the Gods. Enemy of God. So at the start of every session, tell us something you did for God in the past that you considered dishonorable.
I killed Christian women and children.
Oh my goodness me. Wow. That's pretty dishonorable. Pray for the victim's forgiveness and roll plus steal.
I rolled 5, so add steal 7.
Oh, a straight 7. On 7 plus, you hold 1 to spend now or later in the session to say how a vision identifies an enemy of God against whom you roll with advantage when you confront them for the first time. So just make a note of that because I will forget. On a 7 to 9, God tells you to do something you consider dishonorable during the session in return for this help. If you refuse or fail, owe God a debt. Okay. It is very clear that the heir of this house, one Hild, needs to be bedded.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think those are all our start of session moves, unless someone spotted something I haven't. You have a once a session move, Paul, but it's any time. So you are seated, Ethwin, at the top, next to the Lady Hild. Geldhere, you're near the top table, but not at it. That menacing war chief is sitting on the other side of the Lady Hild. And let me then ask you what's going to happen. So, Paul, you gave me that one. So let me go to Geldhere. The doors of the hall burst open. Who or what enters? Or arrives, if enter is the wrong word for what you have in your mind?
I'd say maybe a group of scouts or warriors that had been out somewhere have returned.
A group of warriors burst into the hall. Let me ask Wystan, who do you think this puts at immediate risk?
The lustful heir.
The lustful heir. Okay. And on a 6 plus, the fate of, so I've applied the 7 plus outcome, but one of the heroes is involved or implicated in what they choose. How, Garwyn, are you implicated in these events? What happens that has people looking at you?
Maybe one of them looks a lot like me.
Yeah, we can go with that. How is that?
I might be seated near the entrance, and when everyone else goes to look at the people that came in, they're like, hang on, those two people look just the same.
Okay. So someone next to you, and I'm putting Wystan and Garwyn close together at the bottom of the hall. The person sitting opposite the pair of you looks over their shoulder at these warriors who burst in, then looks across the table at Garwyn and says, "Are you a sister?" What do you do, Garwyn?
I think I'll say cousin.
Let's have you roll. I think let's engage face danger, because I'm curious whether you lose it, whether your burden gets in the way. So that sounded like you were just trying to talk it down.
Yeah, I'd say cousin and sort of turn my head because it's.
Okay, that sounds like subtle to me.
Yep. All right. So, come on. So I can click on the damn thing. And oh, sweet, 2.
A straightforward 2.
Sweet.
Wystan. Oh yeah, don't forget, on a fail, mark XP. Wystan, what do you do when this person who noticed a similarity says, "There are traitors in the hall, my lady"?
I think he would look around and see what people's reactions are. Who looks afraid?
I think that sounds like look about you. The basic move, look about you. I mean, I will always throw a basic move at you folks. If you think you have a playbook move that's more appropriate, remind me of it. So look about you. When you consider anyone or anything or any risk, opportunities, or clues in the seal, roll plus sense, Wystan.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't find the dice roller in the spreadsheet.
Okay, if you go to Lines and Veils and go to G1 in the Lines and Veils tab.
Okay. There. Sorry.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay. It's loading. Oh boy, it's still loading. Oh, I just got denied. Okay, now it's trying to load. There we go.
And I don't know if you're familiar with this dice roller, but if you click on the dice, you'll get a little highlight. Once they're both highlighted, oh, right. Okay, fine. It's easier to reuse what you, because we'll run out of space for dice very quickly. But that's a 1 and a 5.
Yep. So that'd be a 5 in total.
Oh my goodness, this is going terribly well, isn't it? So that's when somebody wrestles you to the floor, Wystan, because clearly you have arrived with the traitor. Geldhere, what do you do as these armed men rush the top table?
And we've been together enough that we're like buddies and whatnot, right? So we're okay. I think he wants to. He's not very good at physical stuff, but I think he's going to stand up, and I don't know if he can use, and maybe I'm going straight to the well too early, but like if I want to use the fear my gods move to try to stand them down and release with Wystan.
Okay. This is going to do somebody harm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
then
confront them is how you aim to kind of subdue people. I mean, that's no reason why you shouldn't do it. I just want you to know what you're getting into.
God, that might feel like a bit. I mean, so they're basically just all this violence just erupted upon us, right? So I'm trying to.
These warriors have burst into the hall. The person at risk we know is going to be the lustful heir. Garwyn and Wystan are involved in a fracas in the corner.
Yeah.
Quite what's happening down there, you're not so certain. I think your attention is probably drawn to the armed men moving up the hall towards the top table.
Yeah. So I guess I could. Invoking the gifts a pretty heavy thing, and doing miracles and wonders, isn't it?
We live in a world where the supernatural is every day.
Well, let's do that.
Certainly is something to fear.
Let's do that instead. I mean, I don't know if he necessarily wants to hurt, and harm somebody, but really just stop all of the nonsense and stand this whole thing down.
Okay, so when you invoke your gift, miracles and wonders, either owe your gods a debt and roll with soul, or make a blood sacrifice and mark wounded or dying.
I think he'll do the blood. Well, so do I go to the? Is it wearied or the wounded?
Straight to wounded.
The
next time you get hit with something, you will go back and fill in weary. Don't it's not lost.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. And what does that look like in the fiction? How does he call on the old gods using this blood sacrifice?
Yeah, I think can it be his own? Like, because I was seeing like him. He pulls out his knife and he slices his hand.
The working assumption is that it is his own blood.
Yeah. So I think he slices his hand and he starts to mumble. He's mumbling under his breath, and then he grabs he picks his staff up and just slams it down like on the ground, like straight down on the ground.
Down there on row 82, you'll see a range of different effects. So what are you hoping to get out of this? Or I mean, something similar. They're not meant to be limited.
Yeah. So what I was kind of thinking was, I don't know if it's kind of close to the trap someone or something somewhere for the scene, but I think he wants to basically stop this whole group of warriors, kind of basically, yes, yeah.
Okay.
Sort of a thou pass thing.
Okay. So you'll find the invoke your gift move in basic moves. When you call on your gods to empower your gift, you paid them with blood, and roll plus soul.
All right. Uh, 7 + 2, 9.
9. Well, will you look at that? There is the help yourself move. When you say how your standing as a pagan mystic is relevant to your current action, you could owe your gods a debt to re-roll one of those dice, or both of them for that matter. Are you tempted trying to get that to a 10? I'm just putting a rule in front of you.
What does 7 to 9 do on? I haven't paid attention.
Okay. Fair enough. On 7 to 9, you succeed, but the fates choose one from. You attract unwelcome attention. Your gift has a broader effect than you had desired. Your gift takes more from you than you had expected. Choose disadvantage or mark a condition, or mark harm.
I think I'll stick with the 9.
Okay. Well, then it does what you said it was going to do. What does this look again like in the fiction when you throw this blood in the face of these warriors as they charge up the hall towards the top table?
Yeah, I think that they immediately are what you. I think they're not like frozen stop, but I think they stop and they're kind of take a couple steps back and they're definitely disconcerted by the display of this power.
Okay, and I'll give you the choice. Do you want to be disadvantaged on your next roll, or do you want to mark wearied? Because you're an old man.
I will mark wearied.
Okay. Ethwin, Geldhere has held these warriors as they charge up the hall. Clearly, their focus is on the air. What do you do?
I'm just looking at my enemy of the god. She identified an enemy of God. Okay, first question is she still at risk?
I think that Geldhere has stopped them in their tracks, but clearly there are a handful of armed men in this hall. So yeah, I guess she is.
Okay, not a problem then. I will invoke enemy of the god, which I had one held because I had the 7+. A vision identifies these as an enemy of God against whom I roll with advantage when I confront them for the first time. So I think God revealed to me that they are no longer human.
Oh, okay. So what are you going to do about it then?
I will leap over the table with my trusty shield and spear, and I will spear the lead man, hopefully to death.
Let's see how that goes then. So you'll find, I will tell you that this is a veteran warrior. The way that this confront works is that this warrior has some defenses. He is experienced in war and he has a round shield. Yeah. And you have to overcome both those defenses before you can subdue him or humble him. Okay. So you are rolling 3 dice and taking the top 2. So I don't know if you want to put another D6 on the table.
I would if I knew how to.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, now I'm going to roll all 3.
And take the top 2.
9, 10, 11 with my skill of steel.
11, my goodness me. So on a 7+, the fate raises that defense. So which defense are you much more experienced than him, or do you simply manage to get the shield away from him, and if so, how?
Yeah, I think I hook my spear under his shield and flick it out of his hand, and it spins through the air and clatters towards the rear of the hall.
And it's lost to him. Fine. So I can then, I choose one. I affect harm as established on you. Force disadvantage on you. They take an opportunity to flee. No. They use one of their powers if they have one. And before your very eyes, he begins to transform.
Okay. Just a quick rules question. This was confront them, wasn't it?
This was confront them.
So I rolled 10+, yeah?
Exactly. And I'm about to come to you for the 10+ outcome. On a 10+, you also describe how you pick one of the bullet points.
Having a quick... I'm going to go for overcome the other defense.
Fine. You are clearly more experienced in war than this warrior. Whether you are more experienced in war than what it's about to transform into, we'll find out in a moment. Let's go back to the other end of the hall, where Garwyn and Wystan are in a fracas with some of the lesser members of the Great Hall. Garwyn, what do you do?
It's been 90 minutes. Do you want to break?
Oh,
or are you happy
sorry,
to
it
keep
is.
going,
Yeah,
or-
it is. It is. Yeah, that's a very good point. At the point at which this thing is transformed is the ideal place for a commercial break. Shall we say back in our seats at 25 to the hour? Fine. See you in about 9 minutes. So
All right.
yes, we left Ethwin confronting the leader of this group of warriors who burst in as he transforms into something. But we were going to the bottom of the hall at this point, where Garwyn has just seen Wystan wrestled to the ground by one of the locals. I guess I'm curious, Garwyn, what do you do when you see Wystan wrestle to the ground? Because he's a friend of the traitor.
Yeah, I'm going to try and grab the person that got him and just chuck him off.
Okay, let's have you have a go at this tough commoner. Their defense is stubborn bloody-mindedness. So they will hang on for grim death. So let's have this sounds like rolling with steel, because that's just, physical force you're applying here, unless you've got something better to offer me. Roll plus steel to see if you can prize them away and get rid of this.
Is this confront them or?
Confront them.
Yep, so I get no modifier overall. Okay, cool. 10.
Who needs a modifier overall? So the Fater raises the defense you right? So stubborn bloody-mindedness. What I mean, so you literally just tear them away and throw them away from Wystan.
Yeah, I'd charge into them and yeah.
Okay. Your foe chooses one. I think that because he was about to beat Wystan with a wooden platter. And he bashes this at you and will do one harm. But you might have a move at this point, mightn't you? Didn't I see live?
Yeah, I've got live, so I just
it's once per scene, so you want to use it up now.
Might as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like Trinity in the Matrix, just whoop, ducked.
Fine. This place circles across the hall as swiftly followed by this man. I think is the likelihood. So you've removed his defense. You will have a chance to humble him in a moment. But let me come to Wystan. Wystan, Garwyn has distracted this person from you. You are free to act.
Well, I was gonna try to use my words, but it's not seem to be the time for that. So Wystan is going to sort of act like he's meagerly getting up and then just wickedly swing his staff at somebody's knees.
So one of these other folks around the table. I think this one doesn't have any defenses. I think this one is entirely surprised by this action. So you can move straight to humble them. So if you look at basic moves, humble them. When you seek to end a confrontation with a foe that has no remaining defense, say what you do and roll with the attribute the Fates agrees is most relevant. This sounds like rolling with steel, an act of physicality. So 2d6. If you highlight 2 of the dice that are already there, and then you'll see a little re-roll button will light up at the bottom of the screen, and then you can re-roll 2 of the dice you already have.
The server again, hang on. It's reloading. Sorry.
It's all right.
Okay.
These dice room are sent to try us. Okay. So I'm assuming there's not a lot of steel backing that up, but that 4 is a fail. So on a miss, you take harm as established. So mark 1 harm. The first, so you start at wearied and work your way down, then go to the next column and the next column. And you are at disadvantage if you try to humble them again. So how does that look? How do you take a swing at somebody's knees and end up on the rough end of this?
Just completely telegraphed too much. So the person jumped over it and kicked him in the ribs.
Fine. Fine. Geldhere, you've held these warriors in place. What do you want to do in the bit of space that bought you?
Yeah, I think, given the marking of the weariness or whatever, I think he did his thing, and then Ethwin kind of blew by him, is what it kind of sounds like, and I think he kind of just stumbles back a little bit, and almost back to, he's maybe down on one knee or something because of what it took it out of him to do what he did.
And is he just looking down, taking deep breaths, just getting himself together again?
Yes. Yeah.
Fine. So Ethwin, the leader of this group has transformed before your very eyes. He gets bigger. Now you're a big man. They don't call you Two Trees for nothing. He is growing. He must now be 7 or 8 feet tall. His head has sunk between these enormous shoulders that have developed. Hair has sprouted over his shoulders and back. His mail shirt has been torn asunder. There are fragments of mail hanging on his body. And his hands have transformed to great paws as he skin changes into a werebear. What do you do, Ethwin?
Does he still look undefended?
No, he doesn't, because he now has all the werebear defenses. They are tough hide, high pain threshold, and fragments of mail.
Okay, and I no longer have the advantage.
The advantage of your the one that your god gave you, you've used that one up.
Okay, well, I better hit him again then.
So what does this look like? There you are with, is it shield and spear? Is that what we're seeing as a combo?
Yeah, shield and spear, so various jabs and slices with the spear.
Okay, let's see you do that thing. 2d6, confront them. That's looking pretty good.
Nothing seems to have happened.
Oh, I saw a 9 appear.
Okay.
Is the dice room really playing fast and loose with us tonight? Well, I saw that 9 happen.
Yeah, I mean, it highlighted and rolled, but it's still rolling for me.
Oh, really? Right.
Yeah.
That's the trouble with a Mac, Paul. So anyway, with a 9, plus steel.
Yep.
So that's a 10 plus. On 7 plus, the Fates erases one of those defenses. Which of those defenses do you no longer want to have to worry about?
Tough hide.
Tough hide. Okay. And I get to choose one. I will use one of my powers, I think. I will regenerate tough hide. You stab him, and as you pull the spear out, the flesh seals behind you, behind the thrust.
Okay.
Let me go to the bottom of the table where
did I get?
Oh, you did. You got a 10. You got a 10. I shouldn't need reminding constantly, but I obviously do. On a 10 plus, what do you want to choose?
I would like to draw danger, foes medicine, someone else to me. No, because he's already on me. Let's remove another one of his defenses.
Which one? High pain threshold, fragment of mail, or do you want to go back to tough hide?
Yeah, let's get rid of tough hide again.
Again, stab him again. Let's go back down to the bottom of the hall. Wystan, you ended up being kicked in the ribs. What do you want to do next? If anything.
I think I'm going to try and use my gift on this werebear.
Oh, right. Okay. So do you want to pay with a debt to your god, or do you want to make a blood sacrifice in this case to Woden?
I'll pay with a debt.
Okay. So you'll find a place to record that down there on about row row 55, 56. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, the dice rollers just kicked me out as well. So what do you roll to invoke your gift then? Basic move, roll plus soul. Okay. I
That's
don't care.
13.
I don't care what your soul is when you roll a 12. So on a 12, so on a 10 plus, you succeed and you choose one. Your gift continues to have its effect for a further action. It has a broader effect than even you had hoped for, or it leaves a foe in the scene at disadvantage.
It leaves a foe at the scene at disadvantage.
Why? What do you actually do to distract this creature?
He hears a booming voice in his head that says, "You will meet your death if you continue."
Oh, and Ethwin, you see this creature look around, distracted. So Ethwin or whoever next confronts the werebear is going to be at an advantage. So Garwyn, you now have a chance to humble the person that you dragged off Wystan. What do you do to humble him?
Do I have to? Can I just run towards the big guy now?
Oh, you can ignore him, and he may well come at you. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm going to go for the big guy and try and stab him in the kidneys.
Okay, so you're going to run. You're going to. So I tell you now, there's chaos in the hall. The menacing war chief, who's bad. Is it Badder, the menacing war chief? I can't remember his name now.
No, Badder was the cowardly warrior.
Yeah, one of the warriors hangs back, but certainly Coilhelm, Enad, the menacing war chief, is marshalling the lady's own warriors, and so there is a melee in the middle of the room here. So Garwyn, you're not going to get there this round unless you've got some special trick up your sleeve. You're going to have to get round to the front of the hall where Ethwin is confronting the bear.
Is there only the one guy that turned into like a werebear?
Yes.
The other warriors that came in with him, they're not fighting, or they are fighting, but they
are now. There is a general melee in the middle of the hall.
All right, I'll go for one of the other warriors then, whoever the closest I can get to.
Okay, so pick on a warrior. Let's have a warrior. There he is. Defenses. Experience in war and a round shield. So you come at him.
Yep.
Which weakness are you targeting and how? Are you trying to demonstrate that you are more experienced in war, or are you trying to disarm him with the round shield?
I'm trying to demonstrate I'm more experienced.
Okay, let's see how that goes then. So roll plus steel by the sound of it.
Yep. And so just one. All right. 12.
You lot are just not giving me any scope at all today. So I mean, how cool does Garwyn look? Because you appear to be a commoner, a hunter. How does you?
I think I'm just nimble, so I'm kind of leaping off a table and then down on the ground, and I faint and then just inside the shield slash.
And he is all over the place, confused by this approach. So on a 7+, I will, I think, inflict harm on established on you. So he is using a hand axe. So 1 harm.
Right.
But you rolled 10 plus. You also describe one of those.
Actually, I think I got the inside of his shield arm, so he drops his shield.
Okay, fine. I'll go with that. Fine. You got a 10. Oh, sorry, as well, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So fine, you have removed his defenses. Let's go to Geldhere. You've been drawing breath, Geldhere. Chaos reigns. Our war chief is defending the lady. Ethwin is confronting the werebear. You can see Garwyn in among the warriors. Wystan is probably lost on the other side of the hall in all the chaos that's going on. But Geldhere, what do you do? Or hide under a table?
No, he may be slothful, but I don't think he's a coward. So I'm not sure if the whole move is pasted correctly into here, because the Fear My Gods, it feels like when I'm reading it, feels like there might be a little piece missing, because all I see is on the 6- the thing. But regardless of that, what I was thinking
so the way it works is it means that whatever you describe, because you can confront someone in lots of different ways,
right?
Whatever approach you choose, you wouldn't roll with any other attribute except soul. So in effect, you confront them more effectively in a variety of ways.
Okay.
You know, if Ethwin tries to talk them down, that's not going to go terribly well. Whereas you're always going to roll with that +2 soul.
Okay. So is this a move that you do harm against somebody with, or
it's a way to remove one of their defenses, and you can talk them out of it. You can sneak them out of it. You can any approach you take, but you will always roll with soul.
The werebear.
Yeah.
Are all of its defense? Have we eliminated all of its defenses, or does it still have?
No, it's still got 2.
What?
High pain threshold and fragments of mail.
Fragments of mail. Now, what I was thinking, I don't think it'll help with either of those things.
It must be said, with a more human opponent, more options might.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't want to go to the. I don't know if I want to go to the well on. This is a pretty dire situation.
I mean, just by the by, you know, you could say you want to get in there and cut one of the straps holding the mail in place.
Yeah.
Roll plus soul.
Yeah. So here's what I was thinking. So as he's catching his breath and he's seeing the sword of God is flying in there, you know, I would sense that he is connected to the spiritual realm. He senses Woden's influence here, and his gods are whispering in the back of his mind around, honor us, right? You know, we're show everyone that we're the ones here. And so my thought is I'm thinking in terms of, and I don't know, I always equate this, since we've just started this, more with a druidic type. Is that so my thought is that in the Fear My Gods, what I want to do is have like vine, like something like sprout out of the ground, and to your point, and then try to tear off the mail to reduce the defenses like that.
I mean, you know, I'm up for trying anything.
So he's definitely what he wants to do is help, but with a overt display of his god's power. So
fine.
His goal.
Fine. So this sounds like fear your gods, roll plus soul.
All right. Well, we knew the 12s were going to go away eventually. So
that I don't think is going to get. So that would get you to 5, wouldn't it?
it would, yes.
Now, of course, you can help yourself. When you say how you're standing is relevant to your current action, owe your gods a debt to re-roll 1 or both die.
This time around, it probably doesn't hurt me to do that. So, yeah, I'll owe my god a debt to do that. And
because the old gods told you to do this.
Narratively,
I mean, narratively, this is as simple as, don't let me down now.
Right. I mean, I'm here because you told me to be here.
Exactly.
Okay, so then I just switch to the -1 on the old gods there.
You do.
And then I can re-roll both of them.
You can.
Because it doesn't seem like keeping a 1 or a 2 is meaningful here.
I mean, what's the chance of rolling that twice in the,
Wow, that had to be said out loud, didn't it? 9.
9, not bad. So on a 9, 7 to 9 men, confront them. 7+, erase the defense you describe and describe what it looks like. So what exactly do we see? You talked about stuff coming out of the ground and kind of tearing this mail from the body of the werebear. Is that what we're seeing?
Yeah. So what I had in my head was that he, again, he maybe pounds his staff on the ground, and then you see the ground underneath him kind of buckle, and then these like, whether they're vines or whatever would be indigenous to come up and grapple the creature, and then rip the mail right off of it, sucking, and then suck right back down into the ground.
Okay. And I will, on a 7+, I will do that, and then I will use one of their powers to heal the tough hide again. Ethwin, it's been a while. What do you want to do?
I will stab it with my spear. Now, it is at disadvantage.
It is, which means that you are at advantage.
Okay.
Distracted by the voices in its head.
An excellent call. Okay, got to refresh the web page.
He's doing that a lot tonight.
Yeah, the dice rollers never. It doesn't seem to keep the web page open for a long time. I don't know why. Okay, 3 dice going down the range. Let's see what we get.
Oh.
We get a 6, a 5, and a 3. So 11, 12, 13.
Give me a break. So are you going after tough hide again? Or high pain threshold?
Let's do both.
Fine. I'm getting sick of this. I'm going to inflict harm as established. So I'm going to inflict 3 harm on you.
Okay, I have a shield and mail.
Okay, so the reason it's in this order is for a reason. So do you want to get rid of tough hide or high pain threshold first on the 7+?
Tough hide.
Tough hide. Okay. Then I inflict harm on you. So you're going to take 3 harm. Now you might want to sacrifice your weapon, shield, or armor protection to block their attack and suffer no harm at all. You with me?
Okay. Yep. I will pay with the shield.
Okay.
So untick that. Yes.
Put one of the put a line through stuff.
Strike through.
Stroke through is the word I'm looking for. Thank you. Through the shield.
Yep.
To take no harm at all, as the shield, as these claws come out and just grab the shield and rip it off your forearm, and probably we see it bouncing down the hall
towards where his shield is.
perhaps where his shield is. Perhaps so. Perhaps so. Where am I left?
So then it goes to the 10 plus, does it?
Then so on the 10 plus, that's where you sacrifice your weapon. Blah 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 blah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So high pain threshold is still in play, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because until you know what I'm going to choose, you may, you want to make a decision based on what I do or what it does. So this is all, so there's chaos in the hall. Everyone's deeply engaged in stuff. Garwyn, are you going to carry on going at these warriors, or have you got something else in mind? Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I'll keep doing that for now.
Okay. Wystan, what about you? Because everybody else is in the kind of hurly-burly apart from you.
This seems so dire. He's going to invoke his gift again.
Pay with blood or with debt?
He bites his tongue and spits out a gout of blood.
Okay, so mark wounded or dying. I think, did you already mark wounded? I can't remember.
Oh, I was supposed to mark one box, so I hit the first one. Did I do that right?
Yeah, you did that right for the harm. Sorry, sorry, I my mistake. You paid with a debt the first time you invoked the gift, didn't you? Yeah. So
Yep.
This time, mark wounded underneath that wearied, and roll plus soul.
All right, let me just mark this down before I forget it. There we go. All right. Hopefully this dice roller will cooperate with me.
Well, it's not cooperating with anybody else, so don't feel, we'll begin to feel jealous if it does for you.
Oh, yeah, kick me out. There we go. All right. So that's a 7.
7. So on a 7 to 9, invoke your gift. You succeed. So what was your intention here?
Kind of the same booming voice says, Ethwin Two Trees has killed your kind before.
You attract unwelcome attention. Your gift has a broader effect than you had desired. Your gift takes more than okay. It hears that, and finally it has worked out who's responsible. It turns away from Ethwin and bursts through the melee towards you. Garwyn, you are between Wystan and it as it comes barreling across the hall, ignoring Ethwin for the moment. What do you want to do, Garwyn? Get in the way or not?
Yeah, I'm going to try and leap onto her and just stab.
I've only just remembered. Remember that you do have that burden. That wrath is always active.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been adding that +1 to confront them?
Yes.
Oh, you have. Okay, fair enough. Right. Okay. So you want to confront it?
Yeah. Just jump on, stab.
Well, you mean remove its high pain threshold by hitting it somewhere it hurts.
Yeah.
Let's have you roll to confront them, aiming at its high pain threshold.
Okay. Oh dear, 1 and 3.
Oh, okay. So that's 3 and 1 is 4, +1 for wrath is 5. Any steel to throw at that?
-1.
Okay. So on a miss, they inflict harm as established. Would you take 3 harm, please? You've used your live for this scene, I think.
Yep.
And then they choose one from the 7+ list. Let me think. I think their tough hide reseals. So tough hide is back in the game. And he just plows past you on his way to Wystan. Wystan, you see Garwyn kind of just brushed aside as this thing barrels across the hall at you. What do you do?
Let me just make sure I'm sticking with the moves here. Could I say that I could invoke my move because I'm trying to divert his attention away from Ethwin?
When you confront them with the intention of protecting someone, to be honest, their attention is now fully on you.
Okay.
Because I used the 7 to 9 outcome, you attract unwanted attention. So I'm afraid their attention is, Ethwin is a forgotten impediment. Garwyn was simply a piece of furniture in the way, on the way to you.
I think I will just face danger.
Fine. With the intention of doing what? What are you hoping is going to be here? Is this running from it? Is this hiding from it? This
is doing a dance and hoping that I keep its attention long enough for it to get stabbed in the back.
Okay, so you want to kind of just confuse it, sounds like. Yeah? That sounds like naked cunning to me. I'm going to have you roll with subtle.
Okay. And I am denied. Hang on. I think I've logged in like 7 times now. Okay, here we go. Oh, maybe not. It froze.
Okay.
There we go.
Oh.
So that's an 8.
Okay. So that's an 8. I'm going to get rid of some of these dice because we're just filling, or certainly my bit of screen real estate is now full of dice. There we go. Okay. So 6 becomes 8 on face danger. 7 plus. You do it, but the fate chooses 1. You suffer 1 harm doing it. It takes longer than you hope. Respite is temporary. I think you suffer 1 harm doing it because actually it wasn't heading towards you. It was heading towards the door to the hall. It brushes past you, doing 1 harm, and is gone into the night as the warriors conduct as best they can a fighting withdrawal. Geldhere. It looks like, the fracas is moving down the hall away from the top table. Ethwin, I'm guessing, is continuing to press them forward with some of the Lady Wolfwind's warriors. And you are gradually being pushed. They are gradually being pushed towards the exit, through which a werebear has just bounded. What do you do?
Well, I do think at this point he's put in a pretty tough shift for Geldhere. I think he's going to look around to find. I'm assuming there's either some form of wine, ale, mead, something, whatever these folks drink, and he will sit down and rest himself and have a big drink.
Then I think that probably the ale flagons in the main hall have all been knocked over in this fracas, and so he has to make his way up to the top table.
Yes.
And he's reaching for a jug of ale to help himself. When the Lady Wolfwind grabs his arm and says, "Where is my granddaughter?" I'll leave you to think about that one for a moment. Ethwin, You are driving the other warriors from the hall, unless you want to do something else. Oh, you are muted.
Do I hear what has just been said?
I'd have you look about you to notice.
Yeah. If I hear it, I will look about me again to see where she's gone.
Well, let's just look about you, and then you can ask me whatever question you want. Then conceivably.
Okay, so I think this sounds like a sense type move.
It is roll plus sense.
Uh, 9.
9. I don't think there's any option here for you to help yourself, and nobody else is in a position to help you, I suppose, unless you want Geldhere's response to that to perhaps prompt you to improve that from a 9 to a 10, because there is a help another hero move after they've rolled.
I'm a -2 on any help or hinder moves, so we may certainly try that. But
no, just can't be bothered, Geldhere.
And when you wrap this up, I now know what I'm going to do when you're ready to come back to me.
Fine. Okay. So Ethwin, let's stick with a 9 then. So look about you. Either ask one question. There's a set of bullet point prompts, someone or something in the scene, the location or situation, what you think might have happened, what you think might be about to happen. Ask the fates to reveal a foe's weakness. Doesn't seem appropriate. And I'm not sure that given what you're interested in, I don't think I can let you agree a detail with me.
Well, can you tell me where she's gone?
She went out the back of the hall.
The opposite of where the werebear went.
Yes.
Did she go with anybody? Or is that a second question?
That's a second question. Who else is missing, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a second question. Yeah, certainly.
Okay.
So she left through the back of the hall. Geldhere, you said you had a cunning plan.
Yep. So the cowardly. So I know that is the cowardly warrior guy still there somewhere?
The cowardly warrior. Yeah, we can spot Bada having hung back. You probably see him kind of appearing to kind of limp up from behind a table where he's kind of nursing his leg.
Yeah, so I think what Geldhere is going to do is he's certainly not interested in chasing after her. So he scouts him out and sees him kind of lurking back there. And I would like to use the convince them move to shame him into going and find your lady's is it her granddaughter your lady's granddaughter is missing, and shame him into going and doing this, and
okay.
And he gets an additional +1 for his slothiness on the do as you ask stuff. So
to get other people to do things.
To do stuff for him.
Okay, so let's have you roll to convince them then. Roll plus subtle.
Okay, so I'm only going to get the +1 from the do as you ask. All right, let's see. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. 11.
Holy moly. Gee whiz. Say how you also gain advantage or impress a watching NPC enough for their settlement or faction to owe you a debt. Does the Lady Wolfwind see what you've just done?
Yeah, so I think he when she grabs his arm and where's my granddaughter? Where's my granddaughter? He looks at her, he holds her hand, looks at the warrior and calls him out and says, "Your lady's granddaughter is in danger, to arms," and I would assume he rushes off, and so
fine.
Then he gets his drink. He gets his.
Well, just mechanically, if you go down to row 60, Cweningas now owes you a debt.
All right.
And indeed, Bada, limping less and less as he goes, is heading for. So Ethwin, you will see Bada, the the cowardly warrior, heading towards that rear exit. Let me go to Garwyn. After this thing brushed you aside and left the hall, what do we see you doing?
I'll just move to sort of stand protectively in front of the lady of the hall because I don't want to go outside. I got my guts ripped.
Okay. Garwyn takes station near the lady. Geldhere sat next to her, drinking from her glass, her cup, while Garwyn protects her. Wystan, what about you?
I think Wystan looks through the burst open doors for a second, but it's weakened now. But yeah, it doesn't want to go out into the night. So he just kind of gathers himself up and sits back down to finish his meal.
So he doesn't. I mean, he could. Does he want to look outside, or does he just?
Yeah, if there's any light cast out, I
Yeah.
want,
Do you want this to be a full moon? I can have this be a full moon if that suits your kind of cinematic sense.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's have you roll to look about you then. Roll with sense.
Sorry, I have to log in again.
It really doesn't like you.
Yeah. Okay.
I've just noticed in the chat, it says the bitter charcoaler did it. We shall be curious, where is the bitter charcoaler? So that's 7 plus sense.
So 6.
Okay, so on a 6, oh geez, mark XP. And on a 6, you hear a voice. And the voice says, "Do not chase me, or I will kill you." Ethwin, you know where she went, and you see Badder taking off after her. What are you going to do, Ethwin?
I am going to go outside the front of the hall.
Oh yes, right. And do what?
I will mount my charger and pursue.
So pursue who, where?
I will pursue the werebear.
Okay, so do you know where he went?
Out that door.
Out. So you're just going to go out the door, climb on the horse, and just ride into the night.
Let's follow his tracks.
Let's have you look.
See his tracks.
Let's have you look about you then.
Let's look about me.
Roll plus sense.
Six. Let's owe the gods a debt.
And how does your standing as a sort of god play into this?
Because this is a foe of God. And God told me it was a foe, so it only
seems only fair. So fine. Oh God, capital G God, because you've only got the one. And are you going to re-roll both or just one of them? I mean, what's the chance you roll one twice?
Let's just re-roll the one.
Okay, let's see what that chance is. Oh, that looks better.
3. 8.
8. So, ask me a question.
Can I see its tracks?
You can.
Let me follow it.
I will ask you, which of the nearby places of interest are those tracks leading? The unholy bog, the haunted river, the mysterious ruin, or the dangerous cavern?
The mysterious ruin.
Okay, we are heading towards the mysterious ruin.
That is the most horse-friendly location.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. So, mysterious ruin it is. Make a note of that. Okay. Ethwin has run from the hall. and you will see in the moonlight of the open doors, all three of you, him leap into the saddle of his charger and gallop into the night. Garwyn, what do you do?
I'm not going to run after him. I'm seriously wounded. Well, I'll grab some food and follow, but I'm not running. I'm just walking, so I can kind of be the person in between the two.
Okay, Geldhere, what about you? Are you tempted to pursue the pursuing Ethwin?
No. At the risk of I think I'll throw this out there and we can decide whether this is a good idea or not. I am thinking about asserting my free will to reduce my debt to my god by escorting the lady of the house back to her abode and taking the lust temptation. I think she needs education in the true gods, and that possibly is why her settlement is so run down and whatnot. And so
Okay. So certainly through mortal free will, mark a temptation, and you're choosing lust.
Yep.
Erase one of the debts to your gods. Fine. And you escort the lady Wolfwyn to her chamber. Yeah.
And the veil.
The veil. Who knows what's going to happen when these two old people are in the lady's chamber?
That's why we have a veil. That's why we have a veil.
Yes, sorry. The very suggestion of it should not have been voiced. Okay. Fine. So there we are with whatever effect. So lust, -2 to look about you, +1 to convince them. Okay, that's not so bad.
So can I ask a question? Do those pluses, because I also have +1, so I have +1 to do as you ask from the sloth and from, do those stack or is it just one?
They stack.
Okay.
You are very persuasive in this current mood. Wystan, you're sitting there, you've seen what's happened. Are you going to sit tight?
I think I'm emboldened by Ethwin and Garwyn going out into the night, and Garwyn had a great idea grabbing some food. So I'm going to go to the high table and get some landed gentry food for myself before I walk out.
Fine. Are you aiming to go out into the night with Garwyn? Or
Yep.
Fine. Okay. I wasn't certain if you were angling towards fear not, master, I will, when you are alone, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, I see what this is the rare occasion where I feel safer with Garwyn around. So I'll take advantage of that.
Fine. Ethwin, you are heading to the mysterious ruin. Now, I will just point you to the location moves tab. Mysterious, you are at disadvantage to understand what you find. You are at advantage to find something mysterious. And because this is a ruin, I would like you, each time you approach, enter, or traverse this location, the hero taking the lead describes the approach they take. Are you still charging into the night? We see you leaning out of the saddle in the moonlight, trying to keep a track of the prints, the tracks. Yeah, you are muted, but I saw the nod. So this sounds less like cunning tracking and more like daring do.
Indeed.
So let us have you roll with steel as you approach the ruin.
11.
11. On 10 plus, choose 2 and accept the loss or consequence of whatever you didn't choose. So the Fates describes an immediate helpful opportunity that presents itself. The fates describe something, that's me, by the way, the fates, that may offer a potential benefit now or in the future. Or you describe how you avoid a risk associated with this place that the fates will describe.
Where am I actually looking for this?
Oh, sorry, location moves.
Got it.
Yeah. There are 3 bullet points down there under 7 to 9. You get to choose 2 of them.
Okay. For mine, it's 7 to 9. It says choose 1.
Sorry, you.
Oh no, I did. I rolled 10 plus, didn't I?
You rolled 10 plus 9 plus 2. Which of those do you not want?
I don't want an immediate helpful opportunity that presents itself.
So you want a potential benefit now in the future, and you want to avoid a risk associated with this place. So how do you avoid risk as you approach this ruin? What do we see that sees you trying to avoid any risks?
I think the speed of my charger. Yeah, maybe it's just really boggy, and the sheer speed of my horse gets me past the risk.
Fine, skimming over this boggy ground before the ruin. Okay. So you avoid any danger here, and just to make sure, you don't want the potential benefit, or do you not want the immediate helpful opportunity?
I don't want the immediate helpful opportunity.
Okay. Then I think we will see you able to tether the horse behind a boundary wall where it won't be seen or won't come to harm, if that's what you wanted to do.
I quite like being on the horse.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you that there is a boundary wall that could be useful to you. Up to you how you make it useful. Okay. Garwyn and Wystan, it's going to take you quite a while to get there, it must be said, on foot, with Garwyn particularly kind of nursing those ribs, I think. I'm inclined to draw a close to episode 1 at this point, because I have 2 of my heroes out in the dark, limping towards this destination, following probably the hoof tracks of our charging Ethwin. I have Ethwin at this location, and I have Geldhere off screen with the Lady Ethwin of Cweningas. And I just think that's the perfect place to stop, to be honest. Anything else is going to open another box, I fear. So I'm going to call it there in that situation. We will pick this up in part 2 next time. Maybe we'll find out what happened to Bada, the cowardly warrior. But for now, I'd like a quick round of stars and wishes, if that's okay. So let's stick with the order. Blake, any stars?
I like what you've done with the system. It sort of flashes out the world more, Alan. I mean, the combat's more involved. It seems a bit more like Fate, but you know, that's cool. You get more of a clear idea how it's going.
What can I tell you? You know, scratch me on a Fate GM.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the changes. I'm liking it.
Wishes? What do you want to see in our finale?
Yeah, draw in some people from the village in some way, in whatever scenes.
Okay. Well, there is a way, if you check out the debt economy, there is a way to spend a debt that the community owes you to actually bring them into a scene yourselves.
Okay.
If I don't have an opportunity, there's always an opportunity for you if you've got a debt in hand. Let's keep going that direction. Paul, any stars, any wishes?
just yeah, I think wishes. Let's just yeah, see it through. Maybe a bit more horror.
Bring me horror or bring me death. Fine, I can do that. Keep going. Joe, any stars, any wishes?
Just generally to everyone, had fun. It was a good session. Nice to join all of you people from all over wherever the heck you're from, which is not where I'm from. I can tell. Yeah, and Alan, I do like, I kind of a little bit like what Blake said. It reminds me of, I like what you do with the way you give us the building out of the community and the things like that. It reminds me of what you did in the little bit in the Impulse Drive game, or no, the other not Impulse Drive, the other one. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, where you had a nice mechanism to help draw us through that and set all that stuff up. I enjoyed that. And then wishes.
Uncharted worlds.
World, that's what. Thank you. Wishes. I think just nothing in particular. Just interested to kind of see how it all plays out.
Fine. And finally, Darren, any stars, any wishes?
Yeah, I really like the structure of the game, and just setting up some set pieces to work with in the way that it was done. The moves seemed pretty good. I like the characters that people came up with. Yeah, it was kind of neat that we just kind of got right to some nitty gritty. Yeah, also extra star for Joe for having board games in the background. So I've been trying to read the titles. I think I see.
That's Cards Against Humanity, and you haven't lived until you've played Cards Against Humanity with your teenage daughters and their friends, if you can even imagine. And then Clank is way back in the back. We did, which my one daughter calls Bonk for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah,
it's probably a texting thing. Thanks, Darren. Any wishes for next time?
I think I'll echo what Paul said. I'm waiting to see the inherent creepiness come out, the horror and whatnot. So
fine, we'll see what we can do for next time. Okay, with that, folks, I will stop the recording.